Adam, did Juwan and Laramie, did they look any better today?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to look – they're going to be sore and banged up until all the way up to the game. So it's going to be about how much better do they feel closer to the game when we hit like Saturday. That's really where we got to have an idea.
Adam, was Charles Harris back at practice today?
Yeah, he was limited today. So, I mean, it seems like he's made some really big strides here like the last 3 days. I was surprised when I saw him moving around yesterday compared to watching him last week.
Adam, do you have any memorable Green Bay visits?
Yeah, I got a couple of them. It's been there a couple times and seen some interesting plays up there. I know being up there in Detroit and seeing Brett Favre play in extremely cold weather and hearing his balls hit, basically when it hit the shoulder pads of the wide receivers, I mean, it was insane, cutting through the wind. It seemed like we always played there in December, and then I've been up there with Chicago playing a Thursday night game and went in for the first time. I think that was the first time Cutler had won up there. So that was a good experience.
As an offensive coach, you see Aaron Rodgers, his ability to scramble, after just do things that make him so elite. I mean, when you watch film of him,
I mean, it's fun to watch when you're not playing him. He's a hard guy to defend, and he makes it look. When I watch him play, it looks like he's playing. It's like a 7-on-7 walkthrough. He looks relaxed. I mean, he's just flicking the ball wherever and putting it wherever he wants. You can tell when he gets hot. When you watch that San Francisco game, those last 3 throws he makes in that game, it doesn't even look like he's trying. Everybody else is going full speed, and he's kind of just putting it wherever he wants. So he's always going to be tough to defend. I mean, even the older he gets, as more ball he sees, he's going to find different ways to move the ball.
What's the toughest challenge when you're playing Aaron Rodgers and there are those scramble ball situations defensively?
Well, the number one thing is if he gets anybody behind the defense, he can throw it a mile, and it's going to get there in a hurry. So, I mean, you have to try to keep everybody in front, and just when he gets loose, you got to pursue and try to put pressure on him to where he has to get rid of it, and then you really got to work that thing top down. You just can't let anybody get behind you.
Can you clarify on James and Tunsil? Do you mean that you think they're going to play, but they're going to have to play hurt, basically?
Well, I mean, I got to see how they're going to feel on game day. I mean, they could get light years better in the next 2 days, and they could be like, I'm great, ready to go. I mean, they could not feel great and say they can't go.
As of today, you planning on having them?
I don't know. We got every scenario covered. Whether we got 1, 2, neither one, we'll figure it out.
How much of what happened on Sunday with the defense is stuff that you can build on?
Well, I think all of it. I think that they did a good job of playing as a group, all 3 levels. And that's really the key, playing team defense, and, that's where turnovers can come, sacks, negative rushes, all those type of things. All it takes is one guy to be wrong, and that's where an explosive play can occur. So I think they can build on that, and hopefully we'll just keep getting better.
You talked to Monday about communication between Matt and the players. What needs to improve there?
I think they're good. I mean, those guys, we got everything that we need to get straightened out with all of us. Completely, really knocked out, moved on. I think it was. Sometimes you have to go through all this kind of stuff during a season. And that's what happens. I mean, the only difference between what happens, a lot of times in the league and sometimes it gets aired out publicly, that's the hardest thing about the NFL sometimes. And you got to bounce back, and we're all moving on. We got what we need fixed, and moving on to the next game.
How would you describe in general the communication that you want to occur both ways, coach to player, player to coach, that in general what you want to see and hear?
Well, that's been great. I mean, over the last 3 years, I feel like players aren't afraid to talk to coaches. Coaches aren't afraid to be honest with players. I feel like that's always been really good, and it's we've never had any issues, you know, and, you know, whatever, Sunday wasn't a fun experience to go through, and it's over and we're moving on from it.
Have you guys, obviously there were breakdowns in the Houston game because players were freelancing. Have you guys addressed freelancing with Rashad, who's pretty much had a license to freelance during his career year?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say it's like all freelancing, and some of it is we had some issues with tackling, like our open field tackling and stuff. We were letting guys get on the safeties too fast to where now there are a lot of green grass to defend and versus more athletic players. And really that's where our biggest concern was, how do we prevent that from happening to where we're one-on-one with a whole bunch, you know, two-way goes for what the safety, because it's really your chances of those guys getting those either back or receiver down are tough. And that was the biggest thing we wanted to address, was make sure those guys aren't getting free runs on our safeties. And that's really, it's more about like gaps, everybody being on the same page where D-tackle, linebacker, those guys are fitting everything right so we don't have those kind of issues down the field.
Maybe along those lines, a message coaches out to players is do your job. And Jerome Baker said yesterday, that's harder than it seems because your instincts tell you to try to do more. Is that a tough message to get across to players?
I don't think it's a tough message to get across. It's just when the game's going on and things are happening extremely fast, and it's, you can, to me, I always look at it as on defense, it's really hard because whatever they've shown on tape, they're probably not going to do exactly what they just did. So really, you're going to see stuff that you haven't practiced against, and it's all reaction, instincts, things like that. And if you do the wrong thing and it could hurt somebody else, and sometimes you think you might be doing the right thing, and it's just, there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to defense.
How has Kenyon's playmaking ability and versatility help you guys in the passing game, especially with Albert being out?
Well, you can move him around. He can come from the backfield. He could be out wide. He could be in one of the slot positions. I think he's got variety. It's really about getting the ball in his hands. You know, it seems like lately it's, you know, I'm getting kind of the checkmate. I'm calling plays for him, and then they're running the right coverage to not allow him to get the ball. And we just got to keep finding ways to just get it in his hands, whether it's running the ball, getting it quick, down the field, however we do it, we just got to find ways to get him the ball.
Obviously, the offense has been evolving a little bit with Brock Osweiler as a quarterback, but 6 points can't be a pleasant experience. How do you address getting more points, especially weeks like this where you're going to have to score a lot of points against Green Bay, or we assume?
We just got to hit the plays that are there. You know, it might be 2 opportunities, it might be 3, it might be 5, whatever they are. When we have the right play versus right coverage and we got a guy open, we got to hit him, or we have to be in the right spot. And you know, last week it was minimal opportunities, but there was a couple there that it's like all it takes is one sometimes, and then it changes and goes in a different direction. Then something else opens up because they start changing what they're doing. But when a team can just keep doing the same thing because they feel like they're having success, that's when it gets frustrating because you know what's coming and we're not getting what we need. We're not getting the production what we need. And it's about all those guys being on the same page, protecting, making sure we're in the right spot, getting the ball out. All those things really, that's where it starts getting to where you notice it, like, all right, we're hurting here up front. Oh, now we didn't do this right, we didn't do this right, and then it makes a big difference.
Every team will have conflicts between coaches and players. We've gone through the list in the last few years. Do you have a red line when it comes to players? Is it the body of work? At some point, you just have enough? What is it with you that some instances you seem to be okay with and some you're not?
I don't know. I never thought of it like that. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you for that one. Ask Tannenbaum at the end of the year. He'll tell you.
Do you have any feelings one way or the other about your next 2 games being moved from 1 to 4, 25?
No, I don't care. Whatever. When they tell us to play, we'll play.
With third downs, when you were talking about the offense, you were speaking about big plays, I assume, in terms of hitting those 5 plays. But third downs just continue to be an issue. I know you've talked about staying on schedule with the offense, but that doesn't even seem to be working as well.
Well, we had a lot of 3rd and 5 or less this last game, and I think we had 3 3rd and 1s, and we missed 2 of them. I mean, that just can't happen. You know, we got to be able to. One, we don't even have a chance to throw the ball. The other one, we just get crushed and trying to run the ball. So, I mean, we got to find a way when we get 3rd and 5 or less. I disagree with you. We've been staying on track pretty good. We've been 3rd and 5 or less pretty much. So, we just have to make sure that we get protected, or if we're running the ball, we get guys covered up, give Frank or Kenyon a chance to get the first. Because really, that's all it takes. If you get a hat on a hat and Frank's back there on a 3rd and 1 situation, we're probably going to get it. So if we can just do a better job of making sure we give those guys a chance early in the down, we'll get first downs.
All right, thanks, guys.